Nintendo builds stuff that doesn't break.
It's still cardboard. It's like, you can't,
I don't know, man. Nintendo
it's
finds...
lined with unobtainium. It won't
the
break.
Game Boy survived a bomb.
That is true.
We use the shells of cockroaches to create this.
It makes no sense.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Multiplayer.
Who is this?
Yeah.
Who is this man? Who is he?
Feeling really sexy on a Saturday, but it's Thursday.
Wow, you just immediately gave the game away there.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. We are so happy to see you, because we can see you. Put it away. Gross. My name is Guillermo Torrado. I'm your host. With me today are two lovely, lovely co-hosts. One who was spoken of in myth, in legends, but is now here in the flesh. Javier Ortiz.
Hello. Wow. Yes, I know. I've never been seen before, but I'm here to grace you with my presence.
Very elusive you are.
Yes, I know.
And of course, we have the fucking Twitter famous multiplayer nath, Nathan Redfern.
You say Twitter famous.
Yeah. To our audience,
I guess so,
because
yeah.
no one knows you exist. But today, it's finally happened. Welcome to the show, sir.
Stars just aligned, and here I am.
I like
There
it.
you
Does
are.
it feel different?
It feels very weird. Yeah.
I'm
Wrong side
very
of the
comfortable.
camera.
It's gonna
I'm
get
sure
weirder.
this doesn't make.
I know.
yeah,
We're
that
just
doesn't
going
help.
right in. There's no easing into this episode. It's like
No, we raw dog it. Gross.
Oh,
hey,
God.
everybody, welcome to the episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, we have a podcast. And a podcast, we have a YouTube.
Yep.
We'll just skim through that. And also, we have a Patreon page. You can check all that stuff out because you can also see all of our episodes right there. You don't have to go to our Google Play or iTunes. You don't have to go to our YouTube channel because you can just go to Patreon and it's all right there. You can watch anything you want. And, you know, if you donated there too, we'd be kind of thankful. Not kind of, a lot. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the show. So, a lot of things have happened. Nathan's here. That's one big thing.
I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, we're going to commit the first half of the show to talking about that.
Yeah.
And how crazy
Where are you
it is.
from?
Yeah. You're so interesting. No, actually, the first thing I want to talk about is something I'm super excited about. It's Fable is back, man.
Yes, the Xbox exclusive that I never played.
Yeah, it was on PC too.
Yeah, it was on PC.
I never had a
Also didn't
PC
play.
growing up, so...
You never played Fable?
No.
1, 2?
No,
You don't have
I've
to play
heard
3,
great
it's fine.
things about it, Kat. I've heard great things about Fable 1 and 2. Not so much 3.
Yeah.
I've heard that one was kind of
3
mixed.
sucks.
Yeah,
It's pretty terrible.
but I know about Fable, and I know that it's a shame what happened to Lionhead, and because Microsoft just shut them down. And, but Fable 1 and 2 are supposedly really good, and the new one, hopefully, it's interesting because it's Playground is now going to be in charge of it.
Yeah, so we just got kind of like a little bit of a rumor, some speculation. Eurogamer finally came out with a article, talking to Playground themselves. The developers of Forza Horizon, which is the open world racing game.
Yeah.
Apparently, Microsoft has basically given the bid to Playground Games to make and kind of revamp Fable, that whole franchise that pretty much died with Lionhead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lionhead Studios was disbanded in 2016, actually. Microsoft was like, hey, your games are awesome. We're going to throw you away. Because they were. We were just talking about this before it started.
Black and white.
Yeah, black
Yeah,
and
black and white.
The movie.
said they did
They
the
did
movies,
it.
yeah.
That's what Microsoft did with Rare as well.
Well, they didn't close them down. They just
Well, they made them do stupid Connect games, and you're just like, why? You had these people who made these amazing open world platformers,
Yeah.
and now you're making them do Dance Connect.
And the funny thing is, the co-founder of Lionhead Studios is now on the Rare team
Yeah.
making Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, Peter Molyneux.
Yeah.
Is that pronounced his name?
I think it's Tom something. I have no idea. I didn't look up
No,
the actual name. I only get half of the facts.
Yeah, you did Fable and
Yeah,
Black and
Peter
White.
Molyneux. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically they're saying yes, there is, this is going to be in development, where it's still early in the stages of this Fable thing. The big speculation is that because Lionhead Studios was closed down before they could release their free-to-play multiplayer game, Fable Legends, and they said they were also
I heard about
talking
that.
about work on Fable 4 at the same time, Microsoft said nope.
No.
And so all those assets... Well, pretty much for Fable, we're kind of lost, and you're just kind of tossed aside. They still have the
Right.
assets for Fable Legends, but the speculation is that Playground Games is actually going to be starting from scratch and taking everyone into the world of Albion for a fourth time, and with a new twist.
Racing cars.
with multiple
racing
cars. Yeah. Fable 1. amazing fantasy game. Fable 2, they introduced guns. Fable 4, cars. But essentially it's a character-driven fantasy RPG set in the world of Albion. And the interesting thing about Fable, which kind of set it apart from other RPGs, especially on consoles, was the alignment morality meter, where you
That was kind of what it was famous for, right? That your actions would kind of put you on that scale of are you
So
good or you
dope.
bad. I mean, they're gonna have to do something like that again, right?
Well, they have to. That's kind of like the crux of the game. Because I mean, like on every single, except for Fable 3, because it is so shitty. But on Fable 1 and 2, the cover art, like it had like a character looking into a mirror, you know, and like on the top of the box, there's that character like in a very like, you know, white and like kind of angelic light, and then at the bottom of it, through the reflection, it was like this devilish impersonation of the character. Yeah, so it's like you can be good or bad, and you can. It's cool. The more bad shit you do, you start to grow horns and like lightning kind of swirls around. It's so
cool.
fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Your hair,
like,
you lose your hair. Like that's how evil you are.
Yeah, it's like a few games like that have been like Mass Effect. Like you can see physical differences in Commander Shepard or Infamous. I don't know if you guys played Infamous.
I've dabbled.
Yeah, like if you become more evil in Infamous, he becomes more red and like evil looking. Like shit like that's really cool.
Because it makes your choices feel like
they
you're
matter.
doing something. Exactly. Because I mean, like Witcher 3 does that same kind of thing, where they, you know, like your choices matter only because you see those consequences play out, but have no actual physical change in your character, right? The reason I bring up Witcher 3 is because what I want to talk about with this Fable thing is like it's fantastic they're bringing back a franchise which personally I love and like has a really huge following, I think.
Yeah, totally.
I know a lot of people like, but some good friends of mine that we just like, you know, have a beer and play Fable and just make mayhem throughout Albion. It's a lot of fun. The reason I bring it up though is because if they're going to be making an open world RPG now in today's right this second in today's industry for video game in the climate of the video game industry, that holds a lot of connotations, a lot of expectations, and the bar is set pretty high by Witcher 3. I think that if we're gonna be honest,
Witcher and Breath of the Wild now.
Breath of the Wild actually took a couple pages out of the book of Witcher 3.
Oh, it totally did. But at the same time, it has new shit hasn't been in other games. Like the whole gliding mechanic.
Very true.
It makes traversing that
Climbing
world.
everything.
Yeah, climbing. Yeah, I mean, it just makes it so much easier to just move in that world.
But in any case, when they come to Fable 4, they're going to be really in a really competitive place now. I mean, where there's just so much. Like, how are they going to make something that stands out in its own way?
Exactly.
Is that even going to be doable? I mean, I just feel like we're at a point where what you'd have to do to be like, this is a new, amazing thing is so incredibly difficult now. Like, the playing field is completely different.
Absolutely.
I think one thing that can be relied on with Playground, especially because of Forza and the new Xbox, the One X, I think the new Fable it's going to look gorgeous. Because Forza is really good at everything looks beautiful. Yeah. Like it's so realistic. And I know it's just cars racing, but still it looks gorgeous. It does. It's a beautiful looking game.
But that's another thing I want to kind of talk about too, is that the only thing in their on the resume is Forza Horizon.
Yeah, it's interesting.
All like Horizon 1, 2, and 3, and then all like the little spin-offs like Fast and the Furious and Hot Wheels and stuff like that. And yeah, sure, it's an open world car.
It's completely different.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still racing.
Exactly.
You are just going to have Fable cars.
Right. If you were saying like, oh, Burnout Paradise is having a sequel, then I'd be like, cool, Forza guys are doing it, badass. But what?
Well, I mean, think about Horizon Zero Dawn. It was made by Guerrilla Games,
which is what Microsoft wanted to bring back Fable 4 in the first place, because they saw how big of it sold 3.4 million copies. So
it's a great game.
Yeah, so like we need something to compete with that. Let's pull Fable out of the
and I mean like Forza. I would assume it's one of their best teams, Playground, because Forza sells really well and people seem to love it. And I mean, Guerrilla made Killzone, I think it was, which is just a crappy shooter. It does nothing for me, but. Yeah, Horizon's beautiful, so hopefully this becomes a cat.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to judge the
cat's super excited.
Yeah. You don't want to judge the studio based on they haven't done anything exactly like this before.
Right.
But at the same time, where you want to look to something. Are they bringing someone in who's got an experience? That's
what I want to see.
It's like I'm not gonna. It's like I have this really great comedy script idea. It's like really casual, kind of like kitschy, and I bring it to Wes Craven. Like it's just like that doesn't work. You have to have some kind of sure, like he's made movies, but he's not made comedies. And sure, you know, these guys have made an open world game.
Sometimes exactly that happens. You give, you know, a film director who's never touched a genre before comes into it and does an amazing job. Okay, but at the other time, it doesn't.
If you're gonna come on the show and give good points, then what the fuck?
Why are you? That's not what Zach does.
He just screams.
He just says he doesn't like Halo. That's it.
And he gets a point across, and we're fine. We move on. No, but that is
not so much to contradict you, but I mean, you really hope that they will do something great. But at the same time, it's sort of like they're also coming into it when it's going to be so difficult to push open world RPGs to the next level.
Yeah, they've got a lot of things.
You'd want someone who's like, okay, well, we were the last people to push the boundary. Now we're going to push it again, rather than we've never even tried this before.
That's true.
Unless they just blow all our minds.
Now, here's another thing that's kind of interesting too. Is that the Forza Horizon team has said, or I'm sorry, Playground Games has said that they have about 200 people working on the Fable game. To put that into perspective.
That's not a lot.
To put that in perspective, Skyrim only had 100 people working.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Seems like Fallout 3, 70 people.
Wow.
Witcher 3, 1,500 people.
That makes sense.
So, like, great. They have more people working on it than Skyrim, which is another, like, you know, it was a critically acclaimed back in 2011, 2012, when it came out. It was a critically acclaimed fantasy open world RPG until Witcher 3 came along and was like, oh, we see what you did there, but what the fuck? And it was great. So they have more people, kind of like more. They have assets to pull from, but they'll probably make it all new. They have a lot of backing. You know, they have all of Microsoft like going in on it, and already the audience is there. And the other thing I was going to say, and they're going into a very rich. Jesus, they're going to reach Jesus. No, they're going into a rich world for story, narrative, and just like for kind of anything. Because Albion is a really cool place. It's a lot of fun to explore.
I like that name.
Albion. Yes. That's something in literature, isn't it?
It's another name for England. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. It's England.
Oh.
If I'm wrong about that, that's going to be the worst.
I thought it was a mythical land in Arthurian legend.
Let's find
out. Or maybe it was England.
But I think it's used.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
This isn't England playered, all right? This is multiplayer.
This matters.
Yeah. I mean, I'm down. I would like to know.
I'd like to
Albion.
I'd like to get that off my...
Right. So I agree with you, though. Like, this team is coming in on...
Okay.
Is what?
It's the oldest known name of the island of Great Britain.
Oh,
okay, so not just England.
Well, part of it.
But
I come on the show and immediately embarrass myself.
Because you had to fact check that.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can ask me about U.S. history. I wouldn't know shit about it. Anyways, but besides, it's probably terrible. So we do have a lot of expectations with this game. People, you know, for me, the reason I'm so not withdrawn, but I'm so sketchy about it. I can't remember. Skeptic. The reason I'm so skeptic about it is because I do really love that game. But what they have working in their benefit is that Fable 3 was such an atrocity that if they do better than that, I think they'll be okay.
Right. So there's a kind of low bar in the history of the game.
Exactly. Well, for Fable franchise, if it's better, you know, if you're looking at if the point of reference is Fable, then sure. But if the point of reference is open world RPGs, I don't know. I mean, like I would love to see us come in the forefront again. This might make me buy an Xbox.
Or, I mean,
do you know that it's going to be? Oh, I guess
it's
Microsoft
definitely exclusive. Yeah, it's definitely exclusive.
Really? For just Xbox?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it'll come to PC.
Well, because it's Microsoft's response.
It has to be on PC.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, but I don't have that.
Oh.
And that's way too much money for me, so it's like I'd rather buy a console.
Fair enough.
Unless I can come over and play your PC.
Yeah, and I'll just watch.
There's one right there, dude.
All right.
Just borrow his X. It's right there.
Oh, perfect. Well, then there you go. I don't have to buy a shitty Xbox.
Yeah, don't buy
just
anything.
Kidding. Okay. So I think time will tell what's going on there.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for it, and I think it's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be cool.
Once we get some more details, we'll just start to follow it.
Yeah, exactly. We jumped a little bit back in time. For our video watchers, I don't know why I can't say, for our viewers. For our viewers, a little bit of technical difficulty, but we're back into it. Podcast, that's the benefit of listening to the podcast. You would seamless. You would hear no difference in this. Yeah.
Except us talking about it.
Illusions. Yeah. Okay, so moving on from amazingness.
Fable.
From Fable, we go into Labo.
It's Labo.
What is
Labo.
it though, really?
Nintendo Labo.
What do you think?
Labo.
See, it makes more sense. He does have, like, you know, he speaks.
It's just the accent.
The most.
It's the accent, dude. It's the accent. Anything he says sounds correct.
This is very true. You could actually, you know what? If Nintendo, okay, hold on. We're talking about Nintendo Labo for we'll get into it. We'll tell you what that is. But if you were to explain Nintendo Labo to me, I would probably be more open to it or susceptible to the idea than I would if I saw the trailer. Because
but honestly, putting it into words, I feel makes it worse. Like you need to see it because if you say it's cardboard,
it's more than that.
If you say Nintendo cardboard, I'd be like,
it's more than that.
It's more than meets the eye.
It is. It's a game. You get software.
Yeah,
you get a game.
True. So Nintendo kind of came out with a surprise announcement. They had been hinting at a new interactive experience for the Switch for a minute. And they finally were like, yo, you know what day it is? And we're like, January 17th. They're like, oh, fucking announcement day. And we're like, why? Nintendo, what's wrong with you? And then they show us this thing called Nintendo
It's crazy.
Labo.
It's like a week after their Direct.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what are you trying to hold like your cards close to your chest? Like, is this your big thing?
It's like everyone's expecting, oh, here we go, online infrastructure.
Yeah.
Cardboard.
Yeah. I don't know. So essentially what it is, it's the Nintendo Labo is a new way to play and interact with your Switch. You buy these DIY-esque kits.
DIY.
Yeah. Or is it? Yeah, that's what it is, right?
Do it yourself.
Yeah. You do it.
Do it.
We gave you the game.
It's like a Lego.
Yeah. So fucking let's go. You know what I'm saying? So it's a DIY kit of a sheet of cardboard that you pop out of place and you fold it by numbers and by the way the Switch
the
tells
game
you.
teaches you how to like put it all together.
Yeah, and you fold it into these new, like there's a motorcycle. Yeah, there's a motorcycle handlebars. You can do that.
The motorcycle,
house.
piano,
and they all kind of fit around the
fishing
Switch
rod.
and the Joy-Cons.
Yeah, and the Switch is like the integral part of it, and then the
Well, I
Joy.
would hope so.
Well, yeah, but like it's cool though, because like
you just pull it.
Oh, an origami crane.
Wow.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Origami with the Switch.
Right, and so you insert the Joy-Cons into different little like nooks and crannies in these like curations, and then you have the software that came with the kit. That lets you play these like little kind of bite-sized mini games that use whatever shape or creation you've made. So like they have a piano mini game where like, and these things are fucking intricate.
Yeah.
Like they are so, it's to the point where I'm like, your audience is 6 to 12-year-olds.
That's what's so impressive about this. Is like their marketing. Like the first thing they said is like, this is for young people or the young at heart. Like they got off right off the bat. It's like, this is for kids.
Yeah.
Please don't freak out. It's for kids. But like
They said that like verbatim.
Well, no.
Please.
Miyamoto said was like, please, guys, it's for children. Like, I want Zelda though. But it's amazing. Like the piano one really impresses me because the way it works is like, it's not just you hit cardboard keys and then it just responds, because that doesn't make sense. But it's using like infrared sensors that the Joy-Cons have.
Finally.
And it's
You're finally using it, yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's reading. It's pretty incredible that Joy-Cons are like reading what's happening and it's transmitting it to the Switch. And it's like, I don't think they're connected during this. Sure. It's like that, and then the robot one, which is a separate package, which I think is $10 more.
It is.
That thing, when they open the back, it looks like a legitimate machine.
Yeah.
Like there's
rubber bands.
Yeah, there's rubber bands and
gears
strings and everything is like, it looks like a machine, and you just straight up have like an Iron Man suit. You're just walking around and But like, it's amazing that it's only using 2 Joy-Cons for all of it.
True.
And that's the thing that I'm kind of afraid of. It's like that if they do more and they're like, well, this one's going to require another Joy-Con.
Well, they're going to do more because, all right, so 2 kits have been said to release on 420. 420 Blaze it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of funny because like if I was gonna smoke weed
and buy cardboard.
Yeah, and I would build some things and like, it's like I'm really riding a motorcycle, you know? Yeah. Set to release on the 420, and the 2 kits that are available are number 1, a variety kit. That's what it's called.
That's like
$70.
The piano one, right?
It has piano, the house, the fishing rod, motorbikes, or the motorbike handlebars, and then 2 RC cars. Not 1, but 2! And then the second kit is the robot kit you were talking about, which is $10 more, $80.
Yeah.
Which is just that huge-ass robot
it's much
apparatus.
more intricate.
Comes with a backpack that you construct out of rubber bands and cardboard and dreams, and then you have like a visor, and then you have things that attach.
It's weird. It's like VR, but not VR.
It's like Google Cardboard on crack.
Yeah, it's great.
It's insane.
Google Cardboard.
Yeah, it's really though. And so, but the trailer itself shows way more creations than what has been released. Like there's on the trailer, there's like a foot pedal that kind of looks like something that you would use like maybe as a gas, like for a gas pedal. They have like a little joystick thing. They've got Fucky. Yeah, we had that once in an episode. So they definitely have more developed. I don't know if this is like their soft launch or if they're just gonna like say like, well, we're committed to this.
Yeah.
But what I think is, well, I don't know. What do you think about this Nintendo Labo situation?
I think it's tricky because it came out of left field and also at a time when everyone is expecting a huge announcement.
Right.
It's just kind of both the perfect way to do it, but also I saw a lot of people kind of having a negative reaction when they're thinking you're about to announce like
online infrastructure.
Yeah, you know, Smash or just something different.
You know, it's the thing about Nintendo, they're a toy company.
Yeah,
That's what they are.
Were,
they're a toy company, and they always think of like kids
planes.
first.
Yeah.
And like the same way that Odyssey, like Zach explained it well when he said that like Odyssey is Super Mario Brothers for this generation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Nintendo knows that almost everybody's got a Switch now. Those things have sold incredibly.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know that a big target of your audience are children. So why not do something that like, you know, it's kind of like young engineers would love. Like kids love Lego. They love, I don't know if Kinects is still a thing, but like, well, they love like kids love the Lego
Technics or whatever.
Kinects. You know, they build. Yeah.
Lego Technics.
But yeah, like it's like, you know, kids love Minecraft. Kids love Legos. Kids love building shit.
Yeah.
And so like when you have something like this where a kid is like, oh my god, I can build a robot suit, or I can play piano, or I can ride a motorcycle, and all I need is my Switch, which I already have, and then some cardboard.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, it's like, but the thing that was really cool about it is like they also showed like you can kids coloring on it, so you can like design what you want.
Yeah, it comes with the $10 little like customizable kit.
And so like
you could buy that
too
separately.
I really think it's going to be huge for kids, but also adults who like want to do that and are diehard Nintendo fans.
I have a feeling that Zach is going to have all of them built and just sitting around.
Oh yeah, he'll just walk around the robot suit all day
at his job.
Yeah. Hi.
Fave in the world. Sorry. So here's the most genius thing about it. The reason I keep saying 6 to 12 years old is because that when you go to their website, they offer a demo, and they said like if you live in San Francisco or New York City and you'd like to try out Nintendo Labo before it comes out, and you have a 6 to 12-year-old kid, you can apply here. And I was like, that's a very specific. What if I want to try it?
What about me?
Yeah, what about me?
It's like going to Chuck E. Cheese. You need a kid to get in here.
Do you really?
I think so.
That's lame. That's why they made Dave & Buster's. But also,
it makes sense.
I've never wanted to go to Chuck E. Cheese after 12, so
yeah,
that makes sense.
I don't think they feel comfortable with just the 30-year-old man walking in. Can I come into Chuck E. Cheese?
Fucking the skee ball going, yeah, you fucking suck, kid. So there's an age group here, and I think it's fucking genius that Nintendo's doing this because 6-year-olds give no shit and also have no consideration whatsoever to anything that's bought for them because they're 6. They have no idea what.
Yeah, they're children.
Right. This shit's gonna get fucked up. Like, like people are gonna buy this, they're gonna construct it. I'm pretty sure you can't deconstruct it because they're so intricate, anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why you want
one
to.
use per kit.
It makes sense.
Right. Yeah. And so, like, I think
it's like a Lego.
Yeah.
Why would you build a giant Lego set to just tear it down?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, some people
I mean,
do.
Lego is definitely reusable. Though.
It is, but I mean, if you spend like however many hours making like a giant Millennium Falcon or a giant Batcave, you're not going to deconstruct it. You'll add
getting
more
a glimpse
to it.
into
Maybe.
your childhood right now. These are two things you actually built.
I wasn't a Lego kid.
Oh.
I was Kinects kid.
Wow.
It was cheaper.
That says, you know how much that says about you?
It was cheaper.
It's like I wasn't Fruit Loops, I was Fruit Circles. Anyways,
Fruity Rings, dog.
No, is that what it is?
Fruity Rings.
Yeah, no.
And it's gonna break, like definitely. Like
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it definitely will. I mean, they look sturdy.
I think it's gonna be sturdy, but a 6-year-old.
You think about
Exactly. You are a 25-year-old
it.
man?
No, I know that. But think about Nintendo's history with building anything. Nintendo builds stuff that doesn't
It's
break.
still cardboard. It's like, you can't,
You know,
like...
I don't know, man. Nintendo
It's
finds...
lined with unobtainium. It won't
the
break.
Game Boy survived a bomb.
That is true.
You know?
We use the shells of cockroaches to create this.
It makes no sense. The thing, it's like they're...
Like there's a Labo bomb shelter kit.
Like, what's crazy is how relevant that is today. But like,
This is actually a genius play. They're like, we're going to save the whole world by shipping bomb shelters into
saves
every
the-
home.
And you can draw on
all
it.
6 to 12.
little flowers and Mario.
Like save all the 6 to 12-year-olds. We're starting again.
They start selling kits that actually like is weirdly enough like teaching the history of humanity. Like, yeah, just go ahead and paint murals so that way they teach the other
Be
like
remembered.
offspring. Anyways, woo. We went on a journey with that one. So Yeah, no, I think it's genius because these are 6 to 12-year-old kids that don't give a fuck. They're going to play with these things. They're going to throw them around, or even if they're careful with them. I feel like over time, a rubber band's going to snap, a thing's going to bend, it's not going to work properly, or they're just going to like put it, here, and then they throw their other brothers and sisters on it, and they fall. I don't know what kids do.
as the robot, like...
No, I agree. Like,
punch them in the face. That's very
like
close.
the robot.
Yeah. You
Like, I understand, and like, practically, yes, that makes sense. Like, this shit might break very easily
And that
because
means
it's
that they're
cardboard.
going to want to buy more.
But I don't know. It's still, like, Nintendo doesn't build stuff that breaks. Like, they don't produce things that break ever.
Do you think Zach would be okay if, in making a point, I just fucking threw that Switch on the table?
Look, does this break?
Yeah, like, look. And then I think he's like, yeah, I mean,
Dude,
it's got
I
a
don't
point.
know. That thing survived a 1,000-meter drop.
What?
Or a 1,000-foot drop.
Doesn't
The Switch.
Holy
Kilometer.
shit.
1,000, not
How did
a 1,000-foot drop. Like, they dropped the Switch from 1,000 feet and it was fine. There's a video. Like,
Would it crack
I
the
believe
screen?
it.
No. Look it up. It was fine.
I don't want to see the video of the thing falling hitting the ground. I want to see whoever owned it if they shit their pants, like during the whole process.
I mean, they didn't take, hey, we're going to use your Switch. Like, no!
Hey, can I borrow this for a second?
I need to test it.
Damn, durable.
But, dude, like, my N64 when I was a kid, like, a chair fell on it. And nothing happened.
Yeah.
It just shook it off. Like, it was just...
I was like, fuck you with your goddamn shit. What are you talking about?
He threw the chair back at me. Like, that's what it did. I mean, it's just Nintendo stuff is built to last. And, I mean, this Labo, I'm going to call it that from now on.
Labo.
I think it really, like, it's going to be easy to market because, like you said about they're going to do it in San Francisco, New York. But, like, I could see Nintendo just going to any mall in America or GameStop or whatever and just having a Labo demo. Where it's just different things.
Product
just,
specialist?
Yeah. And you just got, like, because it's not hard to make, I'm assuming. And
But see, then that comes to another point where it's like, how that shit's got to get dirty. Like, you can clean a remote. Like you can't clean the cardboard.
just take a Lysol wipe and wipe it off.
Until it starts getting soggy.
I guess.
Well, you're not drenching it. You just
No, I
wipe
dip
it.
my remotes in like hydraulic acid or
Hydraulic acid.
hydrochloric acid.
How dirty are your remotes?
Yeah,
getting?
really.
Fucking filthy.
You're just like wiping your ass, eating Doritos, and just like wiping it all
The
off.
Switch says I can play anywhere, so I intend to play everywhere. Yeah, so it's a weird fucking announcement. I think it looks cool. When I first saw it, my first reaction was, which I think is what they're going for. That like inner child going, yeah.
But and that's also like, you said exactly what Nintendo produces. It's weird.
Yeah.
Everything Nintendo does is weird. Like the GameCube was weird. The 64 was weird.
Handle. What are you gonna say?
Like everything's weird.
I was going to say, it's almost like that thing, it's like, this makes no sense and that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It's like
That's what they do. It's like
every
their
time.
motto.
It's
I
like
feel like secretly that's what they have it on the wall.
yeah, it's like
Dinosaur taking care of a baby.
Well,
You're welcome.
What's weird is like they'll put that on the wall, and then they'll also put, what do people want that'll make us a lot of money? Let's
Yeah.
not do that.
Yeah.
Like it's just what they do, and somehow it always works.
Though, that's why I like Nintendo. They're not about pushing out.
They're not about the money.
Yeah. Wow. Never mind. Moving on. No, but yeah, because sure, you have Microsoft and Sony, and they're like, hey, Ubisoft, you want to make another shitty game yearly?
Yeah.
Fuck that. Yeah. Because we know you're gonna make money if it. And Nintendo's like, no. You'll get your Zelda when it's goddamn good and ready.
Yeah.
And then we get it, and I'm like, I would gladly have paid $80 for that. No more. No less.
Not 1 cent more or less. But no, I mean, like, think about everything that Nintendo's done that people are like, this
I've
is...
thought so much today, man.
Well, all right, I'll explain to you. I'll swing the feed this
Thank
to you.
you.
Nintendo makes something that people are like, this is dumb, I don't like it. Wind Waker is the perfect example. When everyone saw Wind Waker, after the tech demo of what they expected,
Techie.
they were just like, this is garbage. Like, where's the sword fight that Link had with Ganondorf? You stop.
What is happening?
I don't know.
Well, and you got Wind Waker instead, and everyone's like, "This is dumb. Look at Link. He looks like an idiot, like a little shit kid." And then they play it.
Shit, kid.
Those were my
verbatim.
words.
Yeah.
But then you play it, and you're like, "This is incredible. Like, I love this." Even though it looks like it's meant for a 2-year-old,
Yeah.
it's incredible. So I mean, have faith in what Nintendo does. Yeah, you go out of the norm all the time. And they do weird shit, but usually 90% of the time it works out.
I mean, I do trust Nintendo. Like they come out of left field and whatever, but seems to be something that always puts a smile on my face.
Yeah. I mean, this, like, you know, it's... Nintendo's all about party games, and the Switch is definitely a party console.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is, like, you know, a bunch of mini games that kids can play together, and, you know, I'm sure that Nintendo has plans of, like, you know, we're going to release this Nintendo Labo that's going to have 4 players, and so kids are going to be like, bring your Joy-Cons over, we can play, you know, whatever.
Sure.
So, you know,
It's cool, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like...
It was the most, like...
That's cool.
But I mean, you getting
guess.
like, you know,
Getting kids
the
together.
equivalent of getting just
really
a lot
cool.
of kids in
I'm
the
gonna
same
get
location.
one tomorrow.
Put them all
Damn,
on
there
the
you go.
farm. And just...
All right, was it worth $70? Is it worth
I'd-
$80? $70?
I think so.
$80?
Yeah.
I don't see why it's not. It's a game, which is already 60.
Yeah, but it seems like a little tiny microcosm of a game, like little mini games.
Every game is $60 though. Like every Switch game that Nintendo makes is $60.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying, but like those are full-fledged like games that like.
So is
Yeah, I
this.
mean, you're paying for the experience of making it. I mean, there's a little extra there than just a regular game.
It's like you're paying for the cardboard, obviously. You're paying for the instructions. Of how
Well, I
to
know
build
what I'm
it.
physically paying for, but is it worth it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It's not because it's not much more than a regular.
Do you
game
not
would
think it's
cost.
worth it?
I don't know. I just like it seems. I think the variety kit is worth it. $70 for like 5. What? 5? 6? 5 things.
This many.
Yeah. And then, but the robot kit, I understand it's huge and it's quite unwieldy a little bit. But $80, that's almost $100.
I still think it's fine.
Almost $100.
Remember,
$80 is what I would have paid for The Legend of Zelda.
I get that, but listen,
Cardboard robot.
the game is $60, and you're paying for all the extra shit that comes with it. So I mean,
All right,
it's-
fine.
go to the U-Haul store and buy boxes. Tell me
plus
how many.
$10 worth
Oh
of
yeah.
cardboard.
For what? $80?
Yeah. Well,
Dude,
no.
I could construct you a
No.
5-foot robot.
Not
with-
$80 because the game is 60. So like 10 or 20 bucks of cardboard. So, you know, but this cardboard has Nintendo stamped on it, so it's different.
Ooh, certified.
And it's definitely more durable than U-Haul. Oh my god, yo, U-Haul boxes, shit falls apart.
U-Haul more like you suck. Okay, anyway, so another thing that fucking calling them out. That's what this show's about.
Calling out U-Haul.
Yeah. So Nintendo went ahead and announced some more things. This is why we have Nathan on the show, because he, I believe, is the only one of us three. He is the only one of us three who has played the game of the evening. I tried. I really tried. Nintendo went ahead and announced a slew of more independent games, indie games that are coming out for the Switch. One of them being what I'm really excited for, Owlboy, on February 13th. Been waiting for that for a long goddamn time. Still waiting for Hollow Knight. They announced it. It's not a date yet, though.
It's coming.
It's coming this year.
coming.
Another one of the things, A Night in the Woods. Night in the Woods.
In the woods, I've heard that.
Yes. Nathan has first-hand experience on this, and I want to go ahead and throw it to you here in a minute. Why should we be excited on February 1st for this game, of all games, to come to the Switch?
I mean, I think firstly, it's pretty awesome just that all these indie games are coming to the Switch.
Yeah, totally.
I think you don't have to go that long ago when indie games like that just weren't coming to every console, and
Yeah.
it seemed like it was such a more of a hassle for the developers to get
Especially
it on there.
Nintendo.
And now they're kind of just like able to roll out across. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, coming to a Nintendo, they're like third-party indie developer. That's pretty
Yeah.
huge, and that's
Fury is getting released, too.
yeah, it's like
I'm really excited about that.
It is.
Yeah.
exciting in of itself. And then the game itself is just, I mean, I think a lot of people have like got a special place now for this game. I know it got picked up a few nominations, and it was like a really intense year for indie games. But there's something really different I feel about Night in the Woods. Both like it's got this combination of this really independent art style that's really different. It's almost like kind of like a really like alternative American cartoon art style.
Yeah,
that's
for
like
sure.
really amazing, and that is tied perfectly to the tone, which I think is something we haven't really seen in a lot of games. It's got this kind of nostalgia, and at the same time, what comes with nostalgia is like melancholy, and it's like it really evokes this feeling of going home,
Yeah.
and then sort of like the joy that going home brings, mixed with the sadness of kind of realizing that it's not going to be there forever. That
Or it's not as good as it was when you...
yeah,
Sure,
and that
So
things
wait-
change and pass, and it's kind of like that's a really deep kind of emotion that's also kind of it's really personal, and it's tied to experiences that everyone has, and it's also, unlike a lot of games, it's kind of not derived from conflict, which I think is really what's made it stand out, and what made a lot of people have taken kind of an eye to it and gone, this is pretty awesome.
For sure. And the game you play a character
Little cat.
Yeah, something. Something. And she comes home from
college. Yeah,
from college.
She's coming home from college. I mean, it's also a game. The whole thing. It's a narrative game. You know, most of the gameplay is spent talking to other characters and kind of learning slowly your own story and what's happened to the place that you grew up in and how it's changed and what's happened to your friends since you haven't seen them for, since you went off to college.
Sure.
So it's kind of, I don't want to give away too much because the whole joy
I
is
already know the whole game now.
Yeah, you really don't. But the whole
really don't.
whole joy is kind of from what you discover. I don't want to give too much about that, but it's kind of just the way you find out things about the character. And one thing that's really interesting is the character, the protagonist that you play, is kind of, there are aspects of that character that aren't great. They're kind of a bad person in some ways. And that was a new experience in a game. So often you play as someone who is a hero.
Sure.
And suddenly you're playing as a character who both the choices they have are maybe something you would never want to say to someone. And you realize that, although you're embodying this character, you're going through their eyes and you're having to make choices that they're having to make.
That you're uncomfortable
that you would not make yourself. That you're thinking, why are you saying that? Why would you say that to someone? Why can't you see? And that kind of makes you really think about the character in a deeper way. And I thought that was really clever.
For sure.
That was something I hadn't
because
really...
when you played that game, I'd only seen like videos, like actually video analysis or analytical videos on the game itself. I have not played it yet, but I heard a lot of like it's very thought-provoking and very, very just enigmatic in the way that you play this character and the way you found out about her.
Yeah.
And then you came in talking about it too a lot when you first were going through it. And it made me really interested. So like now that's coming to Switch, I'm very excited. Like there's not really an excuse for me not to get it at this point, because I'd rather play it anywhere as opposed to being stuck on the couch. But it's just interesting that games like this are coming to Switch, which is more or less, you ask anybody who is a PS4 or an Xbox or even just like a parent, they'll like say like, oh, Nintendo is inherently more of a kiddish avenue for video games, and to bring these kind of games with more serious and mature and kind of like fucking upsetting tones, upsetting storylines, to bring into the Switch is awesome to an audience that could be super susceptible to that and really take a lot from it. And a thing about this is that indie games, I've started to kind of like notice this trend that they're becoming much more of a platform for developers to explore. And we've already talked about this on the show before, but I think it's more just pertinent to bring it up again. Is that these developers have a platform where they can really experiment with maybe having a shitty character or dealing with the depression that stems from going back and visiting back your past and going, oh, this kind of sucks.
Just like characters with issues.
Exactly.
Just like any human being.
Exactly. Which you were saying, when you think of a video game and you want to play, it's more about a power fantasy. You want to play this like badass hero who's like, quippy and awesome and smart and
perfect.
can
always
jump
has the perfect one-liner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now we're getting these games that have a little bit different of a tone, where you can see these vulnerable characters or characters with issues or and severe issues at that even too.
Yeah.
Like with, I'm gonna bring it up again. Hellblade.
Gotta say it once an episode.
Yeah, this chick got motherfucking...
she got problems.
Yeah, she got problems out the wazoo. Let me tell you. So, here we go. No, what the fuck does she have?
Psychosis.
Thank you. Psychosis.
Wait, what does she do?
That was me stalling. That's what that was. No, she has psychosis, and so we hear her voices in her heads and stuff like that, and this has become such a trend, these games that are kind of like showing these, what's the word I'm looking for? Societal problems, spreading awareness on these problems. They've gotten so popular to a point where in the video game awards there's now a category for games
for causes.
A cause. Something like that.
I think it's games for causes or
Games for a cause.
Games for a cause.
Games
like
for
that.
Impact. You both
Games
are
for
wrong.
Impact.
Get the fuck off my show. I'm just kidding. That was really heated for no reason.
Badass over there.
No, and so like I wanted to kind of dive into this topic with you guys.
Yeah.
Especially with someone who is so well-spoken in the English language.
British.
Yeah, so British.
What does that bring to it?
A lot. Everyone has tuned. Like, this is going to be the most heard episode because of the accent. People go like, oh, wow, they really know their shit. One's wearing glasses.
Wow.
One's speaking in an English accent.
Has a mustache.
Sure. You know, like, thank you. I was blanking. You know, and so like I want to talk to you about that real quick because like okay, so going into the category of games for impact for the video game awards, we had Hellblade, which actually won. We had Please Knock on My Door. Night in the Woods was nominated for that as well. Life is Strange, Bury Me My Love, and What Remains of Edith Finch. We've talked about What Remains of Edith Finch. We've talked about Bury Me My Love, Hellblade, and we just talked about Night in the Woods. And these games all deal with either like Syrian refugee, like crossing the borders, you know, trying to escape the whole
real world
cavalcade
issues.
Cavalcade's not the right word. the civil war that's happening there. What Remains of Edith Finch is dealing with death and dealing with coming to terms with. I don't want to ruin anything, but coming to terms with death and morbidity and everything like that. And some characters in there do have mental problems that you actually get to play in weird new ways. Hellblade has psychosis. Night in the Woods is dealing with depression. I think I just said that. Life is Strange deals also with depression, with teenagers coming into their skin and like realizing that people suck.
Yeah, and, growing up and coming of age.
Right. And so like what I kind of want to branch into now is, has this been a thing always in video games? Or is this just something that has started? And what is the unique situation that video games can offer? Or like what is so unique about this avenue that allows for such an impact?
I don't know if it's always been done. Like I'm sure there are games throughout history that are like this character's
history.
Well, I think in some way,
I mean, like
it simulates the futility.
Exactly.
I don't know. I do believe that you could find games throughout, since people have been making games, that in some way do this. More what's happening is the lens by which we're examining them is changing, and more people are like seeing a game and saying, hey, that kind of says something about life. Like, I think you can look back to games like throughout the whole time that do it, but now more and more people are kind of taking it seriously as a form. They're going, hey, that game really effectively says something about, depression or the struggle.
Yeah, or like mental
the struggle.
The struggle's real.
It's fucking A, dude.
No, I mean, it's true. It's like, we've reached a point in history, with especially video games, where we've gotten past that it is a big marketing tool for kids because it's a game. We've gotten to a point where it's an art form. And, you can express lots of different, ideas or societal issues or philosophies or anything through a video game the same way you can through literature, through film, through those are the big two, painting or whatever, art,
Oh, that's literature.
Literature is book. But,
I said it, okay. Gosh, I went to school.
Said it more fancy. But no, we've reached that point where artists can use video games as a platform to express things that have not been talked about, or things that need to be talked about. Like Missing is a huge one.
Exactly.
Talking about real world problems that are happening and
about sex trafficking in a video game.
Yeah.
I think that it's just gonna like
and it's not like it doesn't beat around the bush about it.
Right.
Like this isn't like some fantasy story that's kind of like a metaphor or an allegory. Like it's literally about a kid in India.
Yeah, it's like you need to know what the hell's going on.
Right.
Play this game, and like, now you get to feel empathize with a woman if you're not a woman or someone who's been targeted. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's great is like because games, we've reached a point where they're not. I'm not going to say it's easy to make, but it's much more reasonable for people to create video games nowadays than let's say 20 years ago.
Sure. I mean, there's just people who are making it in their garage. Like
exactly.
It's not still a lot of work, but
also in some ways the standard for what's acceptable is a little bit different. I mean,
true.
There was a time when you could make a game that was a text-based story game, and people would play that.
Right.
And although it was like hard to know how to do that, or at the end of it you just had to have a text-based story.
Yeah, but I mean, you think about like outside mechanics, if you can tell the story and you're playing, like, even if it's a game that's a simple, like, 8-bit platformer, people still play 8-bit platformers. Yeah. But if you have a compelling story with it, then that's all the more reason for people to play it. Because, I mean, it's like Mario and Mega Man, they're not complicated games. They're very simple, and they're fun. You can take those aspects and just include a really good story as well. You don't have to play a character who's perfect. You can play someone who's got issues. And that can be, it's like, let's say you're dealing with a character who suffers from schizophrenia. Like the game.
Let's say.
Well, no, like the
psychosis.
Game. No. But like you can take those symptoms and apply them to any type of game style. So like if it's an 8-bit game, schizophrenia, you could maybe see an enemy that's not really there. You could touch it and it disappears and you don't take damage. I'm totally winging it, but like, you know, like that shit is possible. And a really fun game that kind of utilizes that is it's a game called Rogue Legacy. I don't know if you ever played it, but it's on PC. It's also
There's also one that you were talking about. Actually, you described the game perfectly. The schizophrenia one. It actually exists. It's called Schizomania.
Oh, really?
No. I just want to say
I
the
hate
joke.
you. But no, like in Rogue Legacy, you basically, it's very Metroidvania style. You're this little character going throughout this castle, and each time you die, you become a new knight, and that knight has special qualities. So some of them have like ADHD, where they run faster. Some of them have glaucoma, where they only see in black and white. Some of them are.
Oh yeah. You were talking. Yeah, I remember this.
Like
This is so interesting.
yeah, like they like every like disorder or illness that they have affects the game and how you play. Like
the gameplay, yeah.
Yeah, like I think one of them, they see everything backwards, so moving right actually moves left. That one's fucking hard to play as.
Yeah.
But like, it happens, and it's a really fun game, and it's made in 16-bit pixel, I think.
Sure.
But it's like super like easy, simple. I'm not gonna say it's easy to make, but it's simple, you know, compared to like something like Hellblade.
Witcher 3 or something like that.
Yeah. But it gets across a message of like, look, this character has funny issues. Well, not funny, but issues.
Hold on.
This character
Wow,
has,
we really
this
got-
character has
we were taking
issues
so
that
many steps
affects the
forward.
game. But you know what I mean? Like it's like that person's, you know, characteristics affects the gameplay.
And
Right.
I think you hit the nail on the head right there. It's like what is so unique about this is like you can get an experience like this, an empathetic experience in a movie, in a book. Definitely more so in a book. I think you can really get to deal with the character, their inner thoughts, their inner monologues about what's going on. You get to feel racism if you've never felt it before through another character's eyes.
Yep.
You know, but a game. What's interesting about that is that these things, these problems, these mental disabilities or whatever, can be shown to you in a new light through control, through game control. So like now you have to like reassess, like you have to basically think around that the way that those characters or those people have, you know, in a very lesser form, of course.
Right.
But you still have to. It alters your thinking in the terms of how to actually like function and play the game.
Yeah.
There's a thing in What Remains of Edith Finch where you're this guy who is ADD, and he is kind of, I think, a little. Is lame the right term?
Lame?
Yeah.
Like what do you mean?
Not like a whore. I mean like a
Like a whore?
Horse.
Oh.
He's slower, and so he works at this fish factory where he ends up. He's like a cannery where he just like cuts the head off the fishes. That's all. That's really all he can do.
Okay, gotcha.
He's
Yeah, slow.
And so he ends up like kind of like trailing off and like kind of imagining like another little story, and his therapist is like, you should explore that, you should let your imagination go wild. And so the gameplay is you're actually using the left thumbstick to grab a fish and put it in the chopper, but then in the corner you start to see like his imagination kind of come up, and you're like with the right thumbstick controlling his little avatar that he's thinking about, this like king on a quest.
Okay.
And the more that he gets involved with the story, the more it starts to take up the entirety of his workstation, to the point where you can't even see the fish being, you can't see your workspace. It's completely taken over by this imaginative world. This is imaginative world, imagined world. And it's just like, oh shit, like that's how someone would experience things like that. They completely zone out and they're like somewhere else, completely. And you're right. There have been other games in the past that have had this, tackled these problems. I mean, one I can think of, a really awesome company that was disbanded was Oddworld, the Oddworld series.
Yeah.
First one, Abe's Odyssey, was about Abe. You play this creature, but he's a certain species of creature that our whole species is basically taken as slaves to make, food for this corporation, and it ends up being like they use, the dead who have fallen from stressful work conditions. Just use them as the food. It's like it's like holy fuck. I mean, like this is like a way. It's it's talking about like racial problems, talking about slavery, and you're just talking about fucking. It's just a really intense game, and like the whole point is like now you have to like save all the workers and your race from this.
Sure.
Basically an exodus essentially of sorts. So it's happened, but now you're right. The lenses, we're seeing it through different lenses.
And also, a lot of these games, what's really interesting is like that uses a fantasy allegory kind of thing, or not necessarily fantasy, but sci-fi. These games are all almost exclusively actually really about real people, well, not that exist in the world, but
Sure.
real life,
Humans, like
generally
yeah.
contemporary setting,
Right.
kind of these stories that are about and often taking place in real places
Mm-hmm.
or are based on real locations, or even literally like missing take place.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to like have a game where, in kind of like in the vein of Hellblade, where you're, you know, like women got condemned for being witches, for not doing anything, for like totally normal stuff that, you know.
For being a woman.
Yeah, for being a woman. Yeah, they got killed for it. So like, it's a interesting dynamic if they were to make a game that like it took you through that time and so you see how fucked up that world was and like getting blamed for just being yourself.
So you're saying you want Crucible, the video game?
Yes,
That's what I'm hearing.
With Winona Ryder.
I don't know.
She
I
needs
was
to be in it.
on board until you said that.
Well, she needs to be in it.
She makes the game.
Like that's a deal breaker.
The last thing I kind of want to like say is that how much more how popular, how prominent that this has become in the video game industry is like now there's a thing called Games for Change, which is essentially a festival that is funded through shareholders, stockholders in this, or shareholders in this this community, this platform, whatever you will. Essentially, it's an annual festival that a lot of developers or publishers will come in and bring their ideas and their games and basically showcase their games, which all have the theme of something for a cause, whether it be a social cause or whether it be talking about mental disabilities or hot topics, hot button issues that happen in other parts of the world. Sure. It's talking about educational disabilities, everything. This is where that floods to the point where you can explore their website. You can see their games. They have 173 games that have been published and played in. A Night in the Woods is on there.
Nice.
Life is Strange is on there. Another game that I came across was called 1979 Revolution Black Friday, which you play a photojournalist during the
Black Friday.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts. No, during the whole like civil unrest in Iran.
Yeah.
And with the freedom fighters and everything, and the whole game is based off of actual accounts from freedom fighters, and it's very telltale like in the way, both in visuals and the gameplay. But it's just like, it's huge, and these are platforms where these developers can bring their games that they're really trying to make happen to spread awareness and get funding and actually make it a legitimate thing. It's really interesting.
That's pretty awesome.
Super dope, man.
It's so cool.
It's so cool.
I love fighting for causes.
The most cool.
Like impacts.
Yeah, so I think it's something to look forward to.
Where does it take place?
This takes place in different parts of the world.
Okay.
Wow.
You know what? I couldn't even tell you.
Doesn't
New
say?
York.
Oh, New York.
Yeah. New York City.
I don't even know. New York.
I couldn't even tell you. Yeah, so
That's pretty cool. I'd like to go there. I'd like to check some of the games out.
Yeah,
during the festival.
You know what, too? Like, that doesn't... I've not fucking heard about this thing
Neither have I.
until, like, actually having to, like, look into, like, Games for Impact, kind of things like that. And I was, like, Google searching. I was like,
it's
a whole fucking foundation for this.
That's good, though, because slowly people are getting more access or more eyes on it. Because, you got the Game Awards, which obviously is huge for gamers. Everyone watches it. And then you've got these categories, Games for Impact. Never heard of that before. And then, you can look into these games. If you Google search Life is Strange, for example, I'm sure that would come up at some point. Like, it was...
At some point, but not for a
well,
while.
no, but I mean, like, I'm sure, like, if you came across more of these games, like any of the Games for Impact, I'm assuming took place at this festival as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure if you did a little bit of research, go to that second page of Google, that might show up.
Well, I'm just saying, and yes, I'm also saying that there should be more press on this festival because it is so interesting and relevant and necessary.
Yeah.
Super dope.
We'll
so
get there.
people will stop thinking video games are just bullshit
well,
things.
that's why you've got people like us. We're spreading the news about it, so hopefully people hear about it and they...
You can only hear it here, guys.
Yeah. Just become a patron and you'll get even more about this.
Fucking what? Dude!
Wow.
I'm kidding.
No, I was like, good plug.
How to take a charity and then turn it into...
Oh, yeah.
Dude, my life is a charity, all right?
We're trying to spread social awareness that we are a fledgling podcast. And also...
Me.
Bob's dumb. That's good.
Anyways. Yo, you got some dope socks on. Sorry.
Thank you.
I noticed
For
in the corner of my eye.
for the podcast listeners,
They don't get to see
They
it.
are.
You could show
blue and
show our viewers.
I'm not going to show them.
Come on,
That's
give,
too weird, man.
give them a reason
Dude,
to
that's
watch
at
it.
least worth $1 a month.
I was in. Those socks are
You
long,
gotta,
dude.
that's a bonus video.
Yeah.
Okay, bonus video. Check out our bonus round for
Just
Nathan's
on Nathan's
socks.
socks.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us on today's day of multiplayer. Bring forth what you will. We will take care of you in all of your video game needs. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching and tuning in. If you were watching this, you can, obviously, there's a podcast as well. We've been talking about it all day. You can find that on Google Play and iTunes and also YouTube, which doesn't exist yet, but it will be.
We're working on
In
it.
my heart,
We're
it does.
working on it. And if you're listening to this podcast, of course, you can also watch this on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/multiplayer. Or if you like to flip-flop between both mediums to see, like, wow, is it really like the same audio from the podcast? We can go ahead to Patreon page and you can click
How do
between
they
the
do
two
that?
seamlessly. Seamlessly.
You could listen to them both at the same time.
Yeah,
They
you really could if you wanted to.
You mean they don't know that we re-record the entire show just as audio?
This is
Say
this
the
is all
exact same
dubbed.
thing.
This is all dubbed.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I don't even sound like this. This isn't my voice.
My voice.
This is crazy.
I'm voicing him right now.
You'll never know. Check out our Patreon page. That's actually you could get to find out all the behind-the-scenes stuff. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you can check out all that stuff there on Patreon. Members do get 2 exclusive videos a month called our bonus round.
Yeah.
They get that a week early before everybody else, so that's the kind of incentive there. But if you just want to take a look and gander, and then go ahead and head on back over to our free content on YouTube and our podcast services, that's totally fine too. But we do thank our Patreon members. Also, last thing, special thank you to DJ CUTMAN for his amazing chiptune 8-bit music on the intro and outro of this motherfucking episode. And also, you can check out the behind the scenes and all of the fun antics that happen behind the camera on our Instagram and Twitter page at GoMultiplayer.
Yeah, we were like flying earlier.
We were flying earlier. We were hustling and jiving and
Jive
Yeah.
turkey.
we were. That was dope. You can also follow us on our personal pages as well. Mine is in Instagram. It's at Guillermo_Dorado. And on my Twitter, it's at Masdorado. You can find Nathan here where... Oh my god, this is the first time we
Multiplayer nath. Finally, it can be said correctly.
That's what we
Without-
say.
Say that.
You find something every single time. Incorrect, okay? I don't think I don't notice.
No, I get multiplayer nath right. I don't get your
It's
actual
my actual name, which, I mean, it's not that hard.
It's so
Nathan
hard.
Redfern.
There's just the colors and there's
Red.
shrubbery involved.
It's an adjective and a noun put together right
Alright,
there.
fine.
Boom.
But there's no space. I don't know. I can't differentiate the two.
Chris Redfield.
Yeah. And you can find Hav where?
Multiplayered Hav, Twitter, and I'm on Reddit, and I kind of do something.
Confident.
I
Very
like
confident about the Reddit.
I
I
guess
mean,
I'm
it's
on
not really.
Reddit.
I don't know if you should broadcast Reddit because it's kind of like it's not like the other platforms.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of just you just
keep
hang
that
out
in the
on
back
Reddit.
pocket.
Yeah, like I upload some
keep it right
stuff.
there.
Just
on the cuff.
sometimes if I see a Ugandan Knuckles meme, I'll upload it. That's about it.
You can impress people. It's like, yeah, you can find me here and here, but you can also find me on Reddit. And they go, what?
I can have an AMA any day.
Yeah. You can also follow our resident Xbox gamer and also super badass audio and camera guy as well, Mick Wood. You can follow him at Mick to the Wood on both Instagram and Twitter. And yeah, fucking finally,
Don't worry about
everyone
Zach.
knows.
ZACKMATZ.
GA.
Oh,
There it is.
nice.
Zach,
I liked it.
where
That was
are you?
dynamic. I liked it. Hopefully they heard it.
I'm not sure they did.
Right. Well, finally, guys, I'm glad you get to meet the entire crew. You saw Mick a few episodes ago, probably like 5 of them, and now you got to meet our PC gamer.
Yeah.
And
I
did
didn't
you
even
play-
get really into that.
Well, you played Night of the Woods on
I
PC.
did.
See?
Yeah,
do a
but
bonus
also
round
with a
about that.
controller, so that just complicates it.
Well, jeez.
We got a bonus round dedicated to Nath.
Yeah, I think so. No, fuck that. It's going to be Nath and Mick by themselves. They're going to
Sorry.
do the show. They're going to bonus round the fuck out of it.
That works,
And
too.
everyone's going to see these people. Yeah,
So
Mick, you're
does that
gonna
mean
do
one of you
You're
guys is going to
doing
film
it.
it?
Yeah, sure.
Then,
Okay.
No, you're good.
then we can
Will
man
apps
the
be
camera and
available?
audio.
All right, guys, thank you so much. We will see you next week, so keep on grinding, and we'll see you at the respawn.
Love ya?
That's my line.
I'm sorry.
Fucking poached.
Later.
Bring me the improv in the end.
He doesn't have to worry about
He said my line. He said love you.
We'd like to give a big ol' special thank you to Jaden Lawrence, Arturo Madeira, and Murcha Dan Kropatariu. If you want to receive shoutouts like these awesome, beautiful people, be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayered. See you next time, players.